Many people claim they're voting for Trump because of the economy. What? BS. Trump is the president who lost the most jobs in history, and only the second president to ever lose jobs during his term. In every economic metric, Trump's handling of the economy was bad. Based on 10 years of data by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the last 2 years of the Obama administration, job growth was at 238,000 per month. The Trump administration, negative 9,000 per month. Biden-Harris administration had an average job growth of 369 per month. While Trump had the most jobs in history lost, Biden and Harris actually had the strongest job growth in history. Job growth isn't something that just happens, it's something that is created. The only major piece of legislation Trump passed was the 2017 Tax Cut and Job Act. The law had no provision for creating jobs, gave nearly all of the tax benefits, 84%, to the top 1% of the population and large corporations. The tax cuts for everyone else, as meager as they were, stopped in 2025. To make it even worse, the act wasn't even paid for. $3 trillion went to the national debt. The tax law doubled the national debt and created a huge budget deficit. The law created inflation. The Trump administration is also known for its two government shutdowns, one being the longest in history. This had a negative effect on jobs and inflation. Lastly, the Trump administration at the end of its term was heading for a Great Depression. Thankfully, Biden-Harris administration passed the American Rescue Plan, prevented another Great Depression. It passed the CHIPS and Science Acts to create manufacturing jobs. It created the Infrastructure Act to rebuild America's crumbling infrastructure. The legislation worked. It was paid for, and the Biden-Harris administration reduced the Trump deficit nearly by half. What about the inflation rate that spiked in June of 2022, you ask? The entire world was facing the challenges of COVID and on the economic front. Biden-Harris passed the Inflation Reduction Act to fight inflation. The majority of Republicans voted against it and offered no alternative. The Inflation Reduction Act worked, though. The United States had the lowest inflation of all its peer nations and has an inflation rate today of 2.4%. All the other indicators for the economy were worse under Trump. Gross domestic product decreased under Trump. It increased under Biden-Harris. Unemployment peaked under Trump at 14.7%, while under Biden-Harris, it's 4.1% today. Under Trump, 2.3 million people lost health insurance. Under Harris-Biden, 3.3 gained health insurance. The stock market did increase for Trump. This is great news, but Biden-Harris had more historic highs. Some people listening will say it was COVID that caused Trump's issue. However, prior to COVID, inflation was going up and job growth was decreasing. The economy was already going bad. The COVID crisis accelerated, and the terrible mismanagement caused the results. Republicans deliberately spread misinformation to such an extent that the FBI put out a notice telling people, "You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Seriously, y'all, stop it." As a response to people taking horse deworming paste to cure COVID, Republicans fought social distancing, fought masks, fought vaccines, and Trump held rallies that ended up being super spreader events. The mismanagement caused the mess that Biden-Harris had to resolve. Trump played a fiddle of lies as America was burning during COVID, and Harris and Biden put out the fires and rebuilt America. I spent a lot of time in the economy under Biden and Trump and Harris because it predicts the future. Almost every news source agrees, from Wall Street Journal, Forbes, BBC, NPR, and The Economist, that Trump's proposal would add $4 trillion more to the debt than Harris's. It will shrink GDP by more than 9% and will benefit the super wealthy while increasing costs to working Americans. That is right. The middle class Americans will actually see a tax increase, and they'll see tariffs that will cause the products that they buy for every day to increase in price. That's Trump's plan. Harris's plan, by contrast, will increase the GDP, lower the tax burden in half of America, and is backed by almost all economists. The outlook for the economy is clear between Trump and Harris. Trump will do the same thing he did in his first term: cut taxes on the ultra wealthy, increase costs on the middle class, add trillions to the national debt, and crash the economy once again. Harris will continue to help the middle class, create jobs, and increase the GDP. The choice for the economic voter is quite clear.